My wedding day started like a fairy tale. I stood in the church bathroom, looking at myself in my white dress. Everything was perfect. The flowers, the music, my family smiling in the front row. My name is Sofia Thomas and I had worked at Gym Marketing for 3 years. I built their social media from nothing to millions of followers. Mr. Jim always said I was his best worker. His daughter Jessica Jim was supposed to be my partner, but she mostly took credit for my ideas. I was about to marry Benson Terry, the love of my life. We met at a coffee shop near the office 2 years ago. He worked as a teacher and always supported my dreams. My phone buzzed. A text message. I thought it was good luck wishes from friends. Instead, it was from Jessica Jim. If you like our revenge stories, please subscribe for more. We drop powerful news stories every week, filled with truth, emotion, and justice. Don't miss the next one. And remember, some stories hurt, but they heal too. Subscribe now and join the journey. You're fired. Consider it my wedding gift. Don't come back Monday. My hands shook. My beautiful white dress suddenly felt heavy. Guests were waiting outside. Benson was at the altar. How could she do this today? How could anyone be so cruel? I showed the text to my maid of honor. She gasped. But then I heard the wedding march playing. This was my day, not Jessica's. I would deal with her later. I walked down the aisle with tears in my eyes, but I smiled anyway. Benson and I flew to Hawaii for our honeymoon. I tried to forget about Jessica's text. We walked on the beach, ate amazing food, and watched sunsets. But I kept thinking about my job. For 3 years, I had given everything to Gym Marketing. I created their biggest campaigns. I brought in their top clients. I worked nights and weekends. And Jessica fired me on my wedding day through a text message. On our 3rd day in Hawaii, my phone started ringing. Again and again. The caller ID showed Gym Marketing. I didn't answer. This was my honeymoon. But the calls didn't stop. 20 calls in 1 hour. Then 50. Then 100. Benson looked worried. Maybe you should answer, he said. Something might be wrong. Finally, I picked up. It was Mr. Jim himself. Sophia. Thank God. We have a crisis. The Morrison account is threatening to leave. The social media passwords aren't working. The campaign files are locked. Where are the backup codes? I took a deep breath. I'm on my honeymoon, Mr. Jim. But we need you. This is an emergency. Your daughter fired me by text on my wedding day. I don't work there anymore. The line went quiet. Then Mr. Jim started talking very fast about mistakes and misunderstandings. But I had already hung up. Back home from Hawaii, I met with attorney Kyla Ron. She was young but smart. Her office had awards on every wall. Tell me everything, Kyla said, taking notes. I showed her the text from Jessica. I explained how I built all the marketing systems at Gym Marketing. I had created the social media accounts, the email campaigns, and the client databases. Everything was under my personal passwords and codes. Do you have proof of your work? Kyla asked. I opened my laptop. I had copies of every campaign I created, every client email, every successful project. For 3 years, I had been Gym Marketing's secret weapon. Jessica Jim took credit for your work? Kyla asked. Every time. She would present my ideas in meetings. Her father thought she was brilliant, but she never did any real work. Kyla smiled. Sophia, you have more power than you realize. They can't run the business without your systems. And legally, since you created everything under your name, you own it. My phone buzzed. Another call from Gym Marketing. The 5th one today. Don't answer, Kyla said. Let them sweat. We're going to make them pay for what they did to you. For the first time since my wedding day, I felt hope instead of anger. If you like our revenge stories, please subscribe for more. We drop powerful news stories every week, filled with truth, emotion, and justice. Don't miss the next one. And remember, some stories hurt, but they heal too. Subscribe now and join the journey. While I enjoyed my time as a newlywed with Benson, Gym Marketing was falling apart. My friend Sharon Patel still worked there. She called me every few days with updates. Sophia, it's chaos here, Sharon whispered into her phone. Jessica can't log into any of the social media accounts. She's been trying for 2 weeks. The Morrison campaign is delayed because no one knows the passwords. I felt a little satisfaction hearing this. What about Mr. Jim? He's panicking. 3 clients have already left. They're losing thousands of dollars every day. Jessica keeps telling everyone she knows how to fix it, but she doesn't know anything. The next week, Sharon called with bigger news. They hired a computer expert to hack into the accounts. It cost them $5,000. But when they finally got in, they found something terrible. What? I asked. All the client contact lists are gone. The email campaigns are corrupted. The analytics data is missing. Without your systems, they have nothing. I had built those systems to protect against exactly this situation. If someone tried to break in without proper access codes, everything would automatically delete itself. It was my safety feature. Jessica is telling everyone you sabotaged the company, Sharon said. I laughed. I just protected my work. It's not my fault she didn't know how anything worked. 3 weeks after my wedding, Mr. Jim showed up at my apartment. Benson answered the door and didn't want to let him in. But I was curious about what he would say. Mr. Jim looked terrible. His hair was messy, his clothes wrinkled. This was not the confident businessman I used to know. Sofia, please, he said, sitting on my couch. I need you to come back. The company is dying without you. Your daughter fired me by text on my wedding day. I reminded him. Jessica made a mistake. She was jealous of your talent. I should have stopped her years ago. He looked ashamed. I'll fire Jessica if you come back. Fire your own daughter? She never did any real work anyway. You built everything we have. I see that now. He pulled out a piece of paper. I'll double your salary. Give you a company car. Make you the head of marketing. Just please come back and save the company. I looked at the offer. It was tempting. Double salary would change my life with Benson. But something inside me said no. I'll think about it, I said. After Mr. Jim left, Benson asked what I was thinking. I'm thinking it's time to start my own company. Attorney Kyla Ron called me with interesting news. Sofia, I think there's more to this story. I've been looking into Jim Marketing's finances. We met at her office the next day. She had papers spread across her desk. Your friend Sharon was right to be suspicious. I found some unusual money transactions. Large amounts going to personal accounts instead of business accounts. What does that mean? I asked. Someone might be stealing money from the company, and I have a guess who it is. Kyla showed me bank records. For the past year, Jessica Jim had been moving money from client accounts into her personal account. $50,000 here, $30,000 there. It added up to over $200,000. This is fraud, Kyla said. We need to report this to the police. My head was spinning. Jessica didn't just take credit for my work. She was stealing money too. There's more, Kyla continued. I called some of the clients who left Jim Marketing. They said Jessica had been charging them for services that were never delivered. She was using your old campaigns and charging clients as if they were new work. I felt sick. For 3 years I had worked with a criminal, and I never knew. What should I do? I asked. We called Detective Mike Murphy. He specializes in business fraud cases. But first, we document everything. This was bigger than just getting fired. This was about justice. Detective Mike Murphy looked like someone from a TV show. Tall, serious, with a notebook always in his hand. He listened to my story without interrupting. Mrs. Terry, he said. I had taken Benson's last name. This could be a major fraud case. But we need solid evidence. Kyla had done her homework. She showed Detective Murphy the bank records, the client complaints, and the fake invoices Jessica had created. I need you to help us get more evidence, Detective Murphy said to me. Are you willing to work with us? What do you mean? I want you to record some conversations with Jessica and her father. We need them to admit what they did. The idea scared me, but I thought about Jessica's cruel text on my wedding day. I thought about all the credit she stole from me. I thought about the money she stole from clients. Yes, I said. I'll do it. Detective Murphy gave me a small recording device. Call Mr. Jim. Tell him you're considering coming back to the company. ask questions about the missing money and the client complaints. At home, Benson was worried. Sofia, this sounds dangerous. It's not dangerous. It's justice. That night, I practiced what I would say. Tomorrow, I would start gathering evidence to destroy Jessica Jim's life, just like she tried to destroy mine. I called Mr. Jim the next morning. My hands shook as I held the phone, knowing Detective Murphy was recording every word. Sofia, I'm so happy you called. Have you decided about coming back? I'm thinking about it, Mr. Jim. But I have some concerns. Clients have been calling me directly. They're upset about missing money and unfinished work. Mr. Jim went quiet for a moment. What have they been saying? The Morrison account said they paid for 3 campaigns but only got 1. The Williams company said someone charged their credit card twice for the same project. Oh, that. Mr. Jim's voice got nervous. Jessica has been handling the billing. Sometimes she makes mistakes. Mistakes? Mr. Jim, they're talking about thousands of dollars. Look, Sofia, between you and me, Jessica has been having some problems. Personal problems. She needed extra money for her husband's medical bills. My heart raced. He was admitting Jessica stole money. So she took money from client accounts? Just temporarily. She always planned to pay it back. But then you left and everything fell apart. We couldn't complete the projects to earn the money back. How much money are we talking about? Maybe 200,000. But if you come back, we can fix everything. You can finish the projects and we'll pay back the clients. After I hung up, I called Detective Murphy immediately. I got it. He admitted Jessica stole $200,000. Perfect. Now we need to record Jessica directly. Jessica agreed to meet me at a coffee shop downtown. She probably thought she could convince me to save the company and make her look good again. She looked as bad as her father. Dark circles under her eyes, cheap clothes instead of her usual designer outfits. The stolen money must not be lasting very long. Sofia, thank you for meeting me, Jessica said. I know I hurt you. I was wrong to fire you like that. I had the recording device in my purse. Why did you do it, Jessica? We were supposed to be partners. I was jealous, okay? You made everything look so easy. Clients loved you. My father praised you constantly. I felt like I was invisible in my own family's company. So you decided to take credit for my work? Jessica looked around nervously. I never meant for it to go so far. But once I started, I couldn't stop. And when clients started paying extra for premium services. You mean when you started stealing money? It wasn't stealing. It was just borrowing. I was going to pay it back when the company grew bigger. $200,000, Jessica. You stole $200,000. Her face went white. Who told you that number? Your father. He thinks I'm coming back to save the company and cover up your crimes. Jessica started crying. Please don't tell anyone. Tom doesn't know. If this gets out, I'll lose everything. You should have thought about that before you fired me on my wedding day. I left her crying at the coffee shop table. 2 days later, Detective Murphy called with news. We have enough evidence. We're arresting Jessica Jim this morning. I felt nervous and excited at the same time. What happens now? She'll be charged with fraud, embezzlement, and theft. With the recordings and bank records, this is a strong case. She's looking at serious prison time. That afternoon, Sharon Patel called me from Jim Marketing. Sofia, you won't believe what happened. Police officers came to the office and arrested Jessica in front of everyone. Really? They put handcuffs on her and everything. Mr. Jim was crying. All the employees were watching. It was crazy. I felt satisfaction, but also a little sorry for Mr. Jim. He was a good boss until he let his daughter take over. What's happening to the company? I asked Sharon. Mr. Jim called an emergency meeting. He said the company might have to close. Without you and without Jessica, there's no one who knows how to run the marketing campaigns. That night, Benson and I celebrated quietly. Justice was finally happening. But I also knew this was just the beginning. What are you going to do now? Benson asked. I'm going to build something amazing. Something that's truly mine. The revenge was sweet, but building my own success would be even sweeter. While Jessica Jim sat in jail waiting for her trial, I was busy creating my new life. I rented a small office downtown and started Thomas Marketing Solutions. Sharon Patel was my first employee. She quit Jim Marketing the day after Jessica's arrest. "I can't work there anymore," Sharon said. "Knowing what Jessica did, knowing how she treated you, I want to work with honest people." My first week in business, I got a call from the Morrison account, the big client that Jim Marketing had lost. "Sofia, we heard you started your own company. We want to hire you. We never trusted Jessica anyway. You were the only one who understood our brand." Within 2 weeks, I had signed 3 former Jim Marketing clients. Word was spreading that I was the real talent behind their successful campaigns. Benson helped me set up the office. He painted walls and built desks after school hours. "I'm proud of you," he said. "You turned something terrible into something amazing." But the best part was yet to come. Attorney Kyla Ron called with news about the fraud case. "Sofia, Jessica's trial is next month. But more importantly, the court is ordering Jim Marketing to pay back all the stolen money. Since the company doesn't have enough cash, they might have to sell the building." The building? Their office building. It's worth about $500,000. It will go to public auction. A crazy idea started forming in my mind. I met with my bank manager, Mrs. Rodriguez, about a business loan. "I want to buy the Jim Marketing building at auction." She looked surprised. "That's a big purchase for a new business. Why that building specifically?" I told her my story. About being fired on my wedding day, about starting my own company, about Jessica's arrest. Mrs. Rodriguez listened with growing amazement. "So you want to buy your old boss's building?" "Yes. And I want to turn it into the biggest marketing company in the city." Mrs. Rodriguez looked at my business plan. In just 1 month, Thomas Marketing Solutions had earned $50,000. My client list was growing every week. "Your numbers are impressive, Sofia. But a $500,000 loan is risky for a new business." "I have something that makes this less risky," I said. "I have exclusive contracts with Jim Marketing's 3 biggest former clients. They're guaranteed income for the next 2 years. I showed her the signed contracts. The Morrison account alone was worth $200,000 annually. Mrs. Rodriguez smiled. "Sofia, I think you're going to be very successful. Let's approve this loan." Walking out of the bank, I felt powerful. In 2 months, I had gone from being fired via text to owning my own growing business with a $500,000 building purchase approved. Jessica Jim had no idea what was coming. The auction was held on the courthouse steps on a cold Tuesday morning. I stood with attorney Kyla Ron, waiting nervously as other bidders gathered around. Mr. Jim was there looking desperate. He probably hoped to buy back his own building at a low price. When he saw me, his face went pale. "Sofia? What are you doing here?" "Same thing as you, Mr. Jim. I'm here to bid on real estate." The auctioneer started the bidding at $200,000. Several people raised their hands. Mr. Jim bid $250,000. A construction company bid $300,000. When the bidding reached $400,000, most people dropped out. Only 3 bidders remained. Me, Mr. Jim, and a real estate investor. $450,000. Mr. Jim called out. He was sweating now. The real estate investor bid $475,000. $500,000, I said calmly. Mr. Jim stared at me in shock. "Sofia, you can't afford that." $510,000, he bid desperately. $525,000, I countered. Mr. Jim looked defeated. He shook his head and stepped back. The real estate investor also gave up. "Sold to the young lady for $525,000, the auctioneer announced. I had just bought Jim Marketing's building. The place where Jessica Jim fired me was now mine. Mr. Jim walked over to me with tears in his eyes. "How did you do this?" "I built a real business, Mr. Jim. Not one based on lies and stolen money." 2 weeks later, Sharon Patel and I walked into our new building. It felt strange being back in the place where I had worked for 3 years, but now I was the owner. "What should we do with Jessica's old office?" Sharon asked. I looked at the corner office where Jessica used to sit, taking credit for my work and planning her crimes. Let's turn it into a conference room. A place where we make honest deals with honest clients. We spent the week cleaning out the old gym marketing materials. In Jessica's desk, we found more evidence of her fraud: fake invoices, forged signatures, and cash receipts hidden in the back of drawers. Should we give these to Detective Murphy? Sharon asked. Yes. It might help put Jessica away for longer. My phone rang. It was a reporter from the local newspaper. Mrs. Terry, we heard about your story. Woman gets fired on wedding day, starts her own company, buys her old boss's building. Could we do an interview? I guess so, I said. The article came out 3 days later with the headline: Local woman turns wedding day disaster into business success. It included a photo of me standing in front of my new building with a big smile. That day, I got 12 phone calls from potential new clients. The story was inspiring people and bringing attention to my business. But the best call came from Benson. Sofia, I'm so proud of you. You're amazing. We're amazing, I corrected him. I couldn't have done this without you. Jessica Jim's trial began on a Monday morning in October. As the victim of her crimes, I was asked to testify about what she had done. The courtroom was packed. Mr. Jim sat in the front row, looking heartbroken. Tom Jim, Jessica's husband, sat beside him. They both looked like they had aged 10 years in the PA. Jessica wore an orange jail uniform and looked nothing like the confident woman who used to steal credit for my work. She was thin, pale, and kept her eyes down during most of the trial. The prosecutor played the recordings I had made. Hearing Jessica's voice admitting to stealing money made everyone in the courtroom gasp. Mrs. Terry, the prosecutor said to me, can you tell the court how Ms. Jim's actions affected your life? I took a deep breath. She fired me by text message on my wedding day. She stole credit for my work for 3 years. She tried to destroy my career and my reputation. But most importantly, she stole over $200,000 from clients who trusted us. How do you feel about that now? I looked directly at Jessica. I feel sorry for her. She had every advantage: a family business, talented employees, loyal clients. But she threw it all away because of greed and jealousy. The jury deliberated for only 2 hours. Guilty on all charges. Jessica started crying as the judge sentenced her to 5 years in prison. Outside the courthouse, reporters asked me how I felt. Justice is served, I said. Now I can focus on building something positive. 6 months after Jessica's sentencing, Thomas Marketing Solutions had grown to 12 employees. We occupied the entire building that used to be Gym Marketing. My biggest success was landing the Henderson Corporation account, a $1 million contract that Jessica had tried to steal from me years earlier. They remembered my work and wanted the real talent, not the fake version. Sofia, you need to see this, Sharon said, running into my office with a magazine. It was Business Weekly, and my company was featured in an article called Top 10 Rising Marketing Companies. We were number 3 on the list. Listen to this, Sharon read. Thomas Marketing Solutions has revolutionized client relations with innovative campaigns and honest business practices. In less than 1 year, they've captured 30% of their city's marketing market. My phone rang. It was Mrs. Rodriguez from the bank. Sofia, congratulations on the magazine feature. I'm calling because we want to offer you an expansion loan. Your business has grown faster than we ever expected. How much expansion are we talking about? Enough to open a second location in the next city over. You're ready for regional growth. That evening, Benson and I celebrated at our favorite restaurant. Can you believe it's only been 10 months since Jessica fired you? He said. Sometimes bad things happen to make room for amazing things, I replied. But I wasn't done yet. I had one more surprise planned for Jessica Jim. I drove to the women's correctional facility on a cold February morning. I had requested a visit with Jessica Jim, and she had agreed to see me. The visiting room was gray and depressing. Jessica looked much older than her 32 years. Prison had not been kind to her. Sofia, she said quietly when she sat down across from me. I didn't think you would come. I wanted to see how you were doing.
I'm surviving.
I think about what I did every day. I'm sorry for how I treated you. I studied her face. She seemed genuinely remorseful, not just sorry she got caught. Jessica, I brought you something. I pulled out a copy of Business Weekly with my company's feature story. She read the article slowly. When she finished, she looked up with tears in her eyes. You did it. You built something incredible. I did what you should have done. I worked hard and treated people honestly. I know. I was stupid and greedy. I destroyed everything good in my life. You have 3 more years in here, Jessica. What are you going to do when you get out? I don't know. No one will hire me. I have a criminal record. I leaned forward. When you get out, if you've truly changed, come see me. Everyone deserves a second chance. Jessica looked shocked. You would give me a job? After everything I did? I would give you a chance to prove you've changed. But Jessica, if you ever betray my trust again, I will destroy you completely. She nodded, understanding the weight of my offer. Driving home, I felt lighter. Revenge was satisfying, but mercy was powerful. 1 year after Jessica's imprisonment, I opened my second location in Riverside, the next city over. Sharon Patel became the manager of our original location, while I focused on regional growth. Our grand opening party was attended by over 200 people, clients, employees, city officials, and local business owners. The mayor even gave me a key to the city for transforming adversity into opportunity. During my speech, I spotted familiar faces in the crowd. Mr. Jim and Tom Jim were standing in the back, listening quietly. After the event, they approached me. Sofia, Mr. Jim said. I wanted to congratulate you. What you've built here is remarkable. Thank you, Mr. Jim. Tom Jim spoke up. I also wanted to apologize for my wife's actions. I had no idea what she was doing. I'm sorry she hurt you. How are you handling everything, Tom? I asked. It's been hard. I had to sell our house to pay back some of the stolen money. I'm working 2 jobs now. But I'm managing. I felt sympathy for Tom. He was an innocent victim of Jessica's crimes, just like the client she stole from. Tom, are you looking for marketing work? I might have a position opening up. His eyes lit up with hope. Really? You would consider hiring me? You're not responsible for what Jessica did. If you're willing to work hard and be honest, I believe in giving people opportunities. 2 weeks later, Tom Jim became an account coordinator at Thomas Marketing Solutions. He was grateful, hardworking, and never mentioned his wife's crimes unless I brought them up. 3 years had passed since my wedding day firing. Thomas Marketing Solutions now had offices in 4 cities and 37 employees. We were the largest marketing firm in our region. I was in my office reviewing quarterly reports when Sharon knocked on my door. Sofia, there's someone here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says you told her to come. My heart raced. I knew who it was. Jessica Jim walked into my office wearing a simple dress and carrying a small purse. She looked healthier than when I had visited her in prison, but still humble and nervous. Hello, Sofia. I got out last week. How are you adjusting? It's hard. I've applied to 50 jobs, but no one will hire me because of my criminal record. I'm staying with my sister and working at a fast food restaurant for minimum wage. I watched her carefully. What do you want from me, Jessica? You said everyone deserves a second chance. I've had 3 years to think about what I did wrong. I want to earn your forgiveness by proving I've changed. What kind of job are you looking for? Anything honest. I don't expect to be in marketing again. Maybe filing papers, answering phones, cleaning offices. I just want a chance to work somewhere that treats people fairly. I considered her request. Jessica, if I give you a job, you'll be working for people you used to boss around. You'll be earning less money than you've ever made. Can you handle that? Yes. I deserve it. And you'll be working under the supervision of people who know exactly what you did. Can you handle that shame? I have to. It's part of my punishment. I made my decision. I hired Jessica Jim as a part-time file clerk for $12 an hour. Her job was to organize paperwork, make copies, and help with basic administrative tasks. On her first day, I introduced her to the staff. This is Jessica Jim. Some of you know her history. She's here to work hard and prove she's changed. I expect everyone to treat her fairly, but I also expect her to earn your respect through her actions. Jessica worked quietly and efficiently. She arrived early, stayed late, and never complained about any task. She was polite to everyone, but didn't try to be fake friendly. Sharon was skeptical. Sofia, are you sure about this? What if she's just pretending to be different? Then we'll find out quickly. But I believe people can change if they truly want to. After Jessica's first month, I called her into my office for a review. How are you finding the work? I asked. Humbling, but good. I'm learning what it feels like to actually contribute instead of just taking credit. The staff says you're reliable and respectful. I'm trying to be the person I should have been all along. I made a decision that surprised even me. Jessica, I'm promoting you to part-time administrative assistant. 20 hours a week, $15 an hour. She looked shocked. Really? You trust me with more responsibility. I trust you to prove you deserve it. Don't make me regret this. I won't. Thank you, Sofia. Thank you for giving me hope. 2 years after Jessica's release from prison, Thomas Marketing Solutions was featured on the cover of National Business magazine. The headline read, "From Wedding Day Disaster to Marketing Empire. The Sofia Terry Success Story." The article detailed my entire journey, from being fired via text to building a multi-million-dollar company. But what made the story special was a sidebar about second chances and redemption. Jessica Jim was now my full-time administrative coordinator, earning $40,000 a year. She had proven herself trustworthy, hardworking, and genuinely changed. In a surprising twist, the article read, Terry has hired the same woman who fired her on her wedding day. Forgiveness is powerful, Terry says. But more importantly, people can change if they truly want to rebuild their lives. The magazine hit newsstands on a Tuesday. By Friday, I had received over 200 emails and phone calls from people inspired by the story. Several universities invited me to speak about entrepreneurship and forgiveness. But the call that meant the most came from my father-in-law, Carlos Terry Sr., Benson's father. Sofia, your father Carlos would be so proud of you. You took the worst day of your life and turned it into something beautiful. You're an inspiration to our whole family. That evening, Benson and I had dinner with Jessica and Tom. It felt strange but right. The four of us sitting together, talking about normal things like vacation plans and weekend activities. Sofia, Jessica said as we finished dessert, I need to tell you something. When I fired you on your wedding day, I thought I was destroying your life. I never imagined I was actually setting you free to become this successful. Maybe that's the lesson, I replied. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us are actually the best things in disguise. 5 years after my wedding day firing, Benson and I celebrated our anniversary at the same church where we got married. We renewed our vows in front of family and friends, including many of my employees. During my anniversary speech, I shared the lessons I had learned. 5 years ago, I thought my life was ruined by a cruel text message. But that text message led to everything wonderful in my life today: my successful business, my amazing team, and the knowledge that I can overcome anything. In the audience, Jessica Jim wiped tears from her eyes. She had become not just my employee, but a living example of redemption and second chances. After the ceremony, Mr. Jim approached me. He was now 80 years old and had been battling health problems since his company failed. Sofia, I owe you an apology. I should have stopped Jessica years ago. I knew she was taking credit for your work, but I was proud that my daughter seemed so successful. I was a fool. Mr. Jim, you were a good boss to me for most of those 3 years. You just loved your daughter and wanted to believe the best about her. Can I ask you something? Do you really forgive her? I looked across the room at Jessica, who was laughing with Sharon and some other employees. I forgave her the day I hired her back. But more importantly, she's forgiven herself by changing who she is. You're a remarkable woman, Sofia. I'm proud to have known you. That night, as Benson and I looked through our wedding photos, I found the picture taken right after I received Jessica's firing text. In the photo, I looked shocked and hurt, but also determined. Look how young we were, Benson said. Look how scared you looked. I wasn't scared, I corrected him. I was angry, and that anger gave me the strength to build something amazing. By our 6th wedding anniversary, Thomas Marketing Solutions had grown into a nationwide company with 12 offices and over 200 employees. I had written a book called From Fire to Freedom, turning workplace betrayal into business success, which became a bestseller. Jessica Jim had been promoted to Regional Operations Manager, overseeing 3 of our smaller offices. She earned $75,000 a year and had bought a house with Tom. "Sophia," she said during our annual review meeting, "I want you to know that working for you has been the greatest honor of my life. You didn't just give me a job, you gave me a chance to become a better person. Jessica, you did the hard work of changing. I just provided the opportunity. I have a request. I'd like to start a program for other ex-convicts who want to rebuild their lives. A second chance employment initiative." I was impressed by her idea. "Tell me more." "We could partner with the prison system to provide job training and placement for people getting out of jail. Not everyone will have someone like you to give them a chance." "Jessica, that's brilliant. Let's make it happen." 6 months later, we launched the Second Chance Initiative. Jessica personally interviewed and trained formerly incarcerated individuals for positions throughout our company. The program was so successful that other businesses started copying our model. The local news did a feature story about Jessica's transformation from convicted felon to community leader. During her interview, she said, "Sophia Terry saved my life by showing me that my worst mistake didn't have to define my future." I watched the interview from my office, feeling proud of how far we had all come. 8 years after my wedding day firing, I was invited to speak at Harvard Business School about entrepreneurship and leadership. The auditorium was packed with MBA students eager to learn about building successful companies. "How many of you have experienced a major setback or betrayal?" I asked the audience. Almost every hand went up. Good. Because those experiences are going to make you stronger business leaders. When Jessica Jim fired me via text on my wedding day, she thought she was destroying my career. Instead, she forced me to discover what I was truly capable of. A student raised her hand. "Ms. Terry, how did you find the strength to forgive someone who hurt you so badly?" "Forgiveness isn't about the other person," I explained. "It's about freeing yourself from anger, so you can focus on building something positive. Holding grudges takes energy that could be used for growth." Another student asked, "Do you regret hiring Jessica Jim back?" "Never. Jessica's transformation from my enemy to my ally is one of my proudest achievements. It proves that people can change if they truly want to rebuild their lives." After my speech, I was approached by a young woman who looked familiar. "Ms. Terry, my name is Maria Rodriguez. I was one of the first people hired through your Second Chance Initiative. I'm now finishing my MBA here at Harvard. I wanted to thank you for believing that people like me deserve opportunities." Stories like Maria's reminded me why the pain of that wedding day text message had been worth it. One moment of cruelty had led to years of positive impact on hundreds of lives. 10 years later, I stood in the same church where I got married and received that life-changing text message. But this time, I wasn't there for a wedding or anniversary. I was there for a celebration. Thomas Marketing Solutions had just been named Company of the Year by the National Business Association. We now operated in 15 states with over 500 employees. More importantly, our Second Chance Initiative had helped over 300 formerly incarcerated individuals find stable employment. During my acceptance speech, I reflected on the journey. 10 years ago, I thought my career was over. I was wrong. It was just beginning. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is actually the best thing in disguise. In the audience, Jessica Jim sat with her family, Tom and their 2 young children. She had become my partner and co-owner of the company, earning her share through years of dedicated work and proven integrity. After the ceremony, she approached me with tears in her eyes. "Sophia, I need to say this one more time. I'm sorry for firing you on your wedding day. I'm sorry for stealing credit for your work. I'm sorry for the crimes I committed. But I'm grateful that my worst mistake led to your greatest success. Jessica, we've both grown from that experience. You're not the same person who sent that text message, and I'm not the same person who received it." As I drove home that night, I thought about the lessons I had learned. Bad things happen to good people, but those bad things can become the foundation for something amazing. Revenge might feel good temporarily, but building success feels good forever. People can change if they truly want to rebuild their lives. Forgiveness is powerful, but it has to be earned through actions, not just words. Most importantly, I learned that getting fired via text on my wedding day wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of my greatest adventure. My phone buzzed with a text message from Benson. "Proud of you. Coming home to celebrate." I smiled, remembering how scared I used to be of unexpected text messages. Now they just reminded me of how far I had come. The woman who received that cruel firing text 10 years ago was gone. In her place was someone stronger, wiser, and more successful than she ever imagined possible. And it all started with the worst text message of my life becoming the best thing that ever happened to me. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more powerful narratives, and share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what part hit you the hardest. Thanks for watching.